Welcome to Prague Will Find a Way, our podcast all about progressive rock. I'm Jay Valade.
I'm Jonathan Block.
Today we're doing a deep dive on Jon and Vangelis. For those of you who don't know,
Jon Anderson.
Jon is Jon Anderson, the lead singer of Yes.
And Vangelis is Vangelis.
He's that guy, that one-name guy.
Yes.
Vangelis, popularized by his 1981 soundtrack to Chariots of Fire, which became a giant hit for him, and the Blade Runner soundtrack, as well as, you know, a whole career of electronic music. He's one of the pioneers. So,
yes. But we do have to apologize because this is almost, if you like discographies and releases and stuff, you're going to love this episode.
If you don't,
Jay has,
well, this is more of a history.
Right, but Jay has physical copies and Japanese version, the whole 9 yards. So unfortunately, you won't see those on the podcast itself, but head over to YouTube and watch the video.
You can see it on the video.
See all the cool stuff Jay's got here.
Anyway, so
and vinyl.
And
got vinyl on
so
the
we've
back.
got our vinyl on top.
Yeah.
And then I've got other things over here. But so Jon and I were talking about this, that we should just say the general story. I mean, and a lot of it is on YouTube. I think one of the best things you could do is look up the YouTube video of Jon Anderson live by himself singing I'll Find My Way Home, which is a Jon Vangelis song where he does depending on which one you watch, he does a little How I Met Vangelis story, which is hysterical because, you know, you've got Jon, and Jon's this, you know, diminutive Englishman going up to this kind of big burly Greek guy, and his voiceovers on their conversations are kind of funny. But apparently Jon was a fan of Vangelis' music and looked him up when he was in London or Paris, one of the two, and went over to his house and his studio, and they became friends, and Vangelis invited him to sing on his album Heaven and Hell, which came out in, I don't know, 1974.
4 or 5, but we do not have that.
We don't have it up here,
but you do own the vinyl and the CD.
So Jon appears on one track called "So Long Ago, So Clear," which
you had to listen to the entire album.
Right, there's no banding.
Well,
it's
like side two.
It's like a Tubular Bells.
It was side 2 or the end of side 1?
It's the end of the album, so
right,
end of
yes.
side 2. So
it's the soon of Vangelis.
Yes. So it's like it's Heaven and Hell, and it's, you know, Vangelis' interpretation of that. And at the end of the album is the Jon Anderson contribution,
emerging from the
yes.
Dante's Inferno. Jon Anderson
beautiful
rises
song.
Above.
So it was like kind of the first moment that you would hear a Jon and Vangelis track, but it's all, of course, credited to Vangelis with Jon Anderson as a
right.
guest.
But also there's nothing like that had happened at that time.
Right. It is kind of the blueprint of Jon.
Well, there was no. Well, yes, but also, you know, other electronic bands that were popular. You know, Jon Anderson or any Prague other people were not singing on top of, you know, Tangerine Dream and things like this. This was pretty. Yet they did later, and Jon Anderson worked with them as well, and Kitaro, right?
Yes.
Kitaro.
Yeah.
So
and Mike Oldfield.
But the just the kind of juxtaposition of the full electronics with the organic voice is something that people taken for granted. You know, you think of like Dead Can Dance, and
this was kind of the beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying
absolutely.
that people were not at that point yet adding the voice academic wise, like, you know, in that kind of electronic music, but not this kind. That's why I think it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And after you would listen, it's a dense album.
Yeah.
Even though you have to flip it over, but it was kind of like, whoa, it's cool. Very cool.
So prior to that, Vangelis was invited by Jon to join Yes, when Rick Wakeman had left after Tales from Topographic Oceans, and he came and rehearsed with them for a couple weeks, apparently. And
had those tapes? We've never heard.
Never heard one note.
Not even on YouTube.
Nope. So
Maybe it'll come from the same person who put out the drama stuff.
Jon Anderson famously said, Vangelis was kind of a force of nature. He kind of would come in and he could play the drums, and drums, and then he would play this and play that, and then he said Steve Howe pulled out his electric guitar. He goes, Steve, electric guitar is not the proper instrument.
That was that.
He goes, Vangelis, you're supposed to be making friends here. So that didn't work out. However, their friendship remained, and they did this song on this one album. Subsequent to that, he put out other albums, and Jon Anderson appeared not singing but playing the harp on Opera Sauvage, I think.
Yeah.
And so that was a nice little moment for them. And then he See You Later.
Yep.
See You Later, which time wise I'm not quite sure how that worked.
81,
I know, but
80,
so they put out an album together.
Earlier?
It might have come out after Short Stories.
Okay.
I don't know what came out first. Okay. So the first real Jon and Vangelis album was Short Stories, and basically what they would do is Jon and Vangelis would get together in the studio. Vangelis would just start playing, and Jon Anderson would just start singing, which I think is kind of an interesting thing. And then after they did that, Vangelis would edit stuff down, and then Jon would go back and re-sing it with lyrics, because he's just kind of probably making stuff up.
Vocalizing melodies. Yeah.
And then that was the album, right?
Wow.
100% different from the way Yes works. Yes, famously is like Chris Squire going over every single bass note for hours and hours to determine which one is the right fit for the song. Both approaches are valid, but I think this was a different thing for Jon Anderson to be able to just go there and freely just sing the songs and have Vangelis turn it into the magic that it turned into.
He could just be Jon Anderson on steroids.
Right. So what they do is they release this album called Short Stories, and it is 8 or 9 songs. They put it out in England in 1979. They have a single called I Hear You Now, which was kind of a minor hit for them at the time.
Backed with
Thunder, I believe.
Okay.
Which is on the album. Yeah. So they were not they had a bunch of extra stuff band.
The album's all the way over there.
So they, I got this because of the picture sleeve, but it's basically the same image that's on the album.
Right.
But, I'm a collector. So they released this. This comes out. Jon is still in Yes at this point, but the writing is on the wall. I think this is this is the time that Jon Anderson is just like, I go and I make an album with Vangelis in 4 days, and then I go back with Yes, and we're quibbling over X, Y, and Z.
So this is before Song of Seven.
This is before Song of Seven and before Drama came out, but after Tormata.
All right. Do you have it here, or I want to see the song list? I can't. I remember some of the songs.
You can't read it?
Not Japanese. I'm sorry.
All right. So the song list is Curious Electric, which is really kind of a Vangelis-y moment, and Jon Anderson almost talking on top of it.
Right.
Then I Hear You Now. Each and Every Day comes out. Bird Song, I Hear You Now, and The Road.
Right.
There's some acoustic guitar on The Road, which is not played by Vangelis. Somebody else plays it, but I'm not sure exactly who that is. And then the second side, just more of this kind of sound tone poems with Jon Anderson just singing on top of it.
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah, there's nothing that's extra.
Love is.
Yeah.
/ one more time.
There's nothing that's crazy rock and roll about this at all. It's all very mellow. Some of it builds up.
What's the one tune where it's quiet and then there's the drums and is that
Thunder?
No. Is it Play Within a Play? That's probably the heaviest drums.
Yeah. Well, there are drums and the music does build, but there's no electric guitar and kind of band sign.
It's not rock.
It's very It's electronic and
it's progressive electronic music.
Yes. So this came out and it was kind of a hit for them, which was kind of an interesting thing because Jon was in the throes of leaving Yes, and
What's
kind
the
of
inner
having
sleeve
this-
look like? I saw
The
pictures.
inner sleeve has
The lyrics?
the lyrics
Oh, wow.
and some
Images.
images that John had painted, I guess.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Right. So we got
Trying
the
to give
full
Roger Dean a run for his money, huh?
with his little watercolors.
Yes.
Yes. So
What happens? And then, so they make the album and
so
that's
they
it?
make the album. There's no tour or anything.
Right.
I mean, they
What's
don't.
the date on
John
here?
is
Is it
not really.
79?
I believe it came out in 79 and then
No, it says
80.
Yeah.
But
I
this
remember-
this is the American version.
Yeah, okay.
So-
I remember it. My
It was
brother
kind of
brother
interesting.
had that album. That's the only reason why I remember it.
It was, but it came out as an import first. I
Yeah,
remember one of my
that
friends.
would have been 79.
One of my friends from
Yeah.
high school had, his sister was into Yes, and he gave me a cassette of it before it came out in America. So that was the one single from this, and they were like, "Great, this is cool." So Jon Anderson goes on to leave Yes, do his Song of Seven, does Song of Seven tour. I mean, famously, because this is going back a little bit. I'm rewinding.
It's all right.
Everyone is like, John's friends with Vangelis. He couldn't have done Elias of Sun Hillow by himself. So there was rumors, which was 1976, right?
Yeah.
And they're they had just met sort of zone.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, oh, that's definitely Vangelis on that. But John has always said that Vangelis taught him a lot.
Right. And actually, I have, believe it or not, I have read a bit about that. I forgot about that, but yes, but I thought the consensus was definitely that, you know what, if it was Vangelis, it would sound better. Like, no, I'm serious. That's where it would have been like Vangelis would have had to do something that he's not capable of doing. Like, he would have had to
Yeah, he would have had to
from
let go.
a technical,
he would have
people
to let
listen
go.
to it. No,
Yeah.
because people listen to it and hear the sounds and are like, oh, that's Vangelis. But when you get into the technical aspect of the thing, you can tell John overdubbed like 4 or 5 times to make a chord. He's playing one note at a time, maybe 2 if he can handle that. But you can kind of hear that
in the
accumulation in the music. And yeah, it's like he said, Vangelis. There is no, I think this all gets vindicated later on in the Page of Life era, because there is no freaking way in any universe that he would have gotten away with putting that out without Vangelis never saying anything about it.
Oh no, Vangelis would have
That's what I'm
potentially
saying.
guested uncredited on his album.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either.
I don't believe it because that's just
Jon
not
Anderson,
Vangelis's personality.
Jon Anderson for years has said, I locked myself in the garage, drove myself crazy to create that album where I play every note of it. And Vangelis might have been my mentor, but I'm the one who did it.
I agree, but it's also clear that, like without Jamie Muir, you don't get Tales. Without Vangelis, you don't get Elias. Like that was
absolutely.
That was he inspired him to, like, he learned that, oh my God, you can actually make something with just I think it clicked that, I could actually make an album, because he was already
doing his
guitar
and his incidental percussion,
right? But then he's like, oh my God, he's overdubbing. I can actually play. I can do this.
He knew all about the overdubbing, but
I'm
being
just
able
saying,
to do it himself.
It clicked. That's what I'm saying. It clicked where he was like, I can do an album myself.
I can do it. Yeah,
I can do it. So,
crazy.
Anyways,
so
I can do Elias 1.
Elias 2, we're still waiting for the Son of Elias.
Your foam insert in your boxes.
So time goes on. They have their one album, and Polydor over in Europe is like, we need a new album from you guys. We actually, it wasn't like a hit, gigantic, but it was popular enough and it sold enough that we would like to do another. So they do a new album called The Friends of Mr. Cairo.
1981.
Again, one of those under the radar things in America that all of a sudden it shows up in the import bin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? I didn't even know this was coming out. It just showed up at Carl Graff's Records in Trumbull.
Graff Wadman.
So
Old Connecticut record store chain.
So John Evangelos, The Friends of Mr. Cairo, comes out in 1981. So we have our vinyl copy.
Two covers. What's up here? What's up with
So
this?
John Evangelos, the original album comes out.
Who signed that?
Jon Anderson.
Whoa, show that to the crowd. We've got a Jon Anderson.
So my
Hang on,
sister.
It's like, people aren't going to zoom in. There it is.
So my sister.
What birthday was this?
Oh, I don't know. This was 1981.
So you were
we're not
16.
telling you how old I was.
16, right?
16 or 17.
16 or 17.
So my sister was down in Philadelphia, and he was doing a record signing at the King of Prussia Mall for animation, I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
And so she had the album, and she got it signed for me. I have some Polaroids somewhere.
Oh, wow. Well, that was very nice of her.
It was.
You were probably shocked.
Oh, I was so happy. I mean, This was in the heyday of my, right. Oh, my God. So
you would have been happy enough with the album.
Well, I already had the album, of course.
Forget it. So jaded even at 16 or 17.
So the Friends of Mr. Cairo comes out. We could talk about this album as it sits, or I'll tell the history, and then we could go back over.
Yeah,
songs.
why don't you start with this?
So this comes out, and it's not a hit for them, right? In various countries, it's a hit.
Well, I remember
Canada. The song "The Friends of Mr. Cairo" was a big hit.
I was going to say, I remember hearing a truncated version of the title song on the radio at that time, right. FM radio.
Yeah, it was played,
right?
But it wasn't like this big blockbuster.
I know, but I heard that was and I was like, I don't like that. I'm like, this is like. Anyways.
So they had a single, "The Friends of Mr. Cairo," which became a hit in Canada apparently, but didn't do anything in England.
No,
it got airplay in the States because of all the.
Yeah.
It was
related.
It was.
That's what happens when you drink beer.
That's right. So it was kind of interesting at the time because of the beat and the way that Vangelis was playing the keyboards and all the voiceovers and stuff. This was like in early 80s, so it was kind of like cool that they had it was all about the movies.
Yep.
And so they did a video for it, but it didn't really fare well in the British charts. So famously, Jon Anderson tells the story, which again, I'll harken back to that.
We'll put a link
video.
to the video in the description.
And he said, the record companies called. They want their money back. They want a hit single.
They come to them and are like, you got to make another album.
Now
it doesn't do good. Now they want their money back.
Now you have to give us another song because it's not really doing well.
Right.
So this single came out, and it was Friends of Mr. Cairo on one side and B-side on the B-side.
Besides themselves.
So what they do is Vangelis calls Jon and says, we got to do this, and he's
the way around.
Well, I don't know. Depending on the story Jon's telling that day.
Oh, okay. So, I got you. Okay. Somebody got a call.
And Jon's like, all right, I'll come over. And
let's also reiterate, a lot of this stuff is because Chariots of Fire is in the 80 is in this era. So Vangelis is hot.
Vangelis is hot. He's starting to he did Chariots of Fire, came out right around the same time. He's suddenly become a household name. They're like, we need a single. We just had a #1 with Chariots of Fire or whatever. We're about to.
Yeah.
So they go into the studio, and I don't have the picture sleeve, but they did I'll Find My Way Home.
Okay.
So
and this is from that era?
Yeah, this is the JV1. It's
I saw the B-side. I can't believe that. I just can't. But anyway.
So the B-side of I'll Find My Way Home is Back to School, which is Jon's least favorite Jon Vangelis song from the album. Again,
tough.
nothing new, but they go into the studio, they record this. It becomes this huge hit for them over in Europe.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember I was actually in England when this was like #3 on the charts, and I tried to find this, and this is all I found. All the picture sleeves were sold out already, so I got the
standard,
the plain whatever.
Yes. No 45 adapter needed though for the overseas.
Not for the overseas.
No.
So this becomes a big hit for them. They go on top of the Pops, the whole thing. Vangelis is like, I'm not going on top of the Pops. Jon's like, you gotta. He's like, I'm not going. He's like, they're going to pay us more. I'll go.
Yeah, see, I told you. Well, then maybe he paid him a lot not to have him on.
Anyway,
Elias.
so they re-released the album, The Friends of Mr. Cairo, with a still from the video with I'll Find My Way Home on it. And they basically flipped the album. So what was side B of the regular album is now side A with I'll Find My Way Home starting it out.
Gotcha.
And side 2 is
Friends of Mr.
the
Cairo
old
starting.
side
Yep.
one, right?
Yeah.
So this becomes a hit
which
for
is
them.
better to do it that way. No. Don't. No. I mean, come on. Friends of Mr. Cairo and then Back to School, back to back. It's too much for side one. So.
So this album is kind of a combination of the old short stories album approach,
Right.
and some more updated, faster songs. Now, that's not to say that they changed their way of working at all.
Right.
It's still the
Just
same
happened that way,
process,
right.
right? So we've got I'll Find My Way Home, which is a nice kind of mellow song, but with the Vangelis flourishes and John's voice building. We've got State of Independence.
Why wasn't that the single?
State of Independence?
I mean, no, I understand the Fine Way Home. It's great we have that song. I'm talking about, like, why was it Friends of Mr. Cairo and not State of Independence?
John...
they talk about this
John
too?
on YouTube said, he said, we did that song, and I said, that should be a single. And the record company and Vangelis' manager were like, sure, John. Yeah. And then they put out The Friends of Mr. Cairo.
I'm in Team John on that. I mean, that
so
makes
State
sense.
of Independence, again, this
Yeah.
kind of thing. He said, I did probably 50% of that song is the original take of me just kind of singing shablamity,
Right.
or whatever, you know? And so they do that one. Beside is a very mellow
Is that
kind
what he
of
was
song.
doing? I thought it's like, I mean, he's making noises. I thought he was like saying, because it could be like you wander in, you wander out, you wander in, you wander. He's saying shaboobie whatever.
He's saying shablamity, shablamida.
Okay.
They have this song. They have this song.
Did you
B-side.
you bought this one at the time when
I bought this at the time.
So you have two of the other one and this one? Is that what happened? Well, because you said you already had the album. Your sister got you.
Yeah, well, I gave her my other one, and she gave me hers.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha. And then this, what was the time between?
It wasn't that long. It was months. Probably.
Remember when you could walk into like something like that would happen?
Yeah. So, but it still has like on the record label.
Cool.
So
That's cool label.
we've lost the lyrics, which the original one had, but the record label itself has the graphics of the original album.
Interesting.
You know, it's still the black and white Jon Vangelis kind of thing from the previous.
Right.
So, Beside is a nice kind of piano-ish kind of electronic mellow thing. Then they have the song called The Mayflower, which is all kind of a combination of the story of the Pilgrims and as if there was a spaceship called the Mayflower going out into space. And it's this amalgamation of that, and that's the voiceovers are all about that, and John singing on top of that.
Not my favorite tune.
Right. The next is The Friends of Mr. Cairo, which is our movie song, which has this beat to it, and John singing in a very high-pitched voice on top of it with all of these Jimmy Cagney and Maltese Falcon kind of imagery.
Film noir.
Yes. And
Quips.
which then slows down and does this very ethereal piano feeling thing, and John singing about his love of the movies.
Yeah.
Right? Second half, absolutely different than the first half, but it's kind of interesting because it's like this gangstery kind of thing, which then it turns into this homage to the old movies.
Yeah, which I prefer the second half. The first, it's just too much, and it's too much because Jon Anderson's. It doesn't make any sense, you know. I just can't picture Jon Anderson being.
But it's
tough.
the '80s.
I know, but it's like I can picture him being like, if I put on a leather jacket, I'll feel tougher.
I don't think he's singing it as if it was.
I know that.
him.
I'm just
he's
saying
telling a
that
story.
It's just, I get it. It
Next
is
is
innovative. Nobody, it is interesting. The album, it's just not my favorite album of theirs.
So then comes Back to School, which is his boogie, And it's my least favorite as well, John. So we don't
my-
even have to talk about it. Let's.
No, I will say one more thing. It's my least favorite. It's my least favorite Jon and Vangelis song.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes. So okay. Good.
And then
so we're in agreement.
then Outside and Inside is awesome.
Excellent.
It's harkens back.
The best song, one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah, it harkens back to the short stories feel. Yeah, very
and could have been
simple.
from that time for all we
Yeah,
know.
but one of the and this is a wrap up kind of version of this, but one of the things that I love about these albums by Jon and Vangelis is how clean Jon's voice sounds on it and how upfront it is to the music. And it's awesome. I would have these albums in college, and I'd come home, and my roommates have like the headphones on, they're listening to, and they are not like Jon and Vangelis kind of people, and they're like, that stuff is just awesome because it's so mellow and it just brings me into a good spot. Yeah. So that was that album.
It's good place. Good place to.
Let's just finish with that.
Okay.
In that State of Independence then gets covered by a million people, but most notably Donna Summer.
Yep.
And Mood Swings with Chrissie Hynde does it. There's a number of different things on the internet if you look up that people have done versions of State of Independence. So what happened was Quincy Jones does the album that
Michael Jackson
that Donna Summer is doing, and he gets in this choir to sing the background vocals, and he gets all these big name people because this is right around the time of We Are the World, et cetera, et cetera. So he gets them all together, and they do this thing, and then Quincy Jones has, and you can look this up too, says, well, then Michael starts to like this Jon and Vangelis album, and he likes the Friends of Mr. Cairo. He likes the beat on that, and we kind of might have lifted that and slowed it down and turned it into Billie Jean, but that's the way Michael is. And Jon Anderson is like, awesome,
right? Yeah.
He's like, I don't need any royalties. Right. I just love the fact that Michael might have taken my song and turned it into something. So it becomes a big hit for Donna Summer too. Oh. And I'm not sure what the story is, whether the Donna Summer recording came first and then We Are the World came after, because Quincy got this idea that, oh my God, I got all these people in the room singing background for this State of Independence song. We should do this thing, or if it was the opposite.
I think they were around. I don't know if it was the opposite, but certainly it brought like when State of Independence got from Donna Summer, it was like, oh my God, it's a Jon and Vangelis. No one knew, and then it kind of shined some light on the Jon and Vangelis stuff for sure. Because it's not like State of Independence was
burning up the charts for them.
Well, not, but kind of makes sense. It's interesting because you don't think so. If you get if you like us, right? You grew up in the 70s, you hated disco or whatever, but now in the background it's like, well, without Donna Summer you really don't have any electronic music in the popular era.
Giorgio Moroder
with I feel love. That's the song. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that then she comes back 8 years later or whatever it is, 6 or 8 years later, with yet another electronic thing that because it should be said that she kind of was her own person too. Like if you read about her career, she was not just like, oh, she drove her career. She wrote music. She was into the concepts, and she did what she wanted to do. It wasn't like Quincy Jones or whoever else the producer was telling her what to do. So she wanted to do State of Independence. She wanted to do this electronic thing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Record Store Day had a State of Independence Donna Summer album, and it was like 7 versions.
Right, there's a lot of mix, and
I was like, should I buy this?
Well,
I will never listen.
You can listen. They're available streaming.
Okay.
So there is one of the. It might be whatever the deluxe edition is of the album that the song appeared of Donna Summer's, because she has deluxe versions of most of her albums, and then I think it's like on the bonus discs too.
Okay,
so.
There was also, I in a deep rabbit hole, there was a Spanish version of I'll Find My Way Home by some guy that I had heard about, and then I was listening to it last night, but I couldn't tell you the name of the person or what it's called because it's in Spanish.
That's a strong
But it's
song.
on it's on Spotify if you
Cool.
try.
Yeah. All right.
So that's the first half of Jon and Vangelis.
Yeah. Why don't it seems like a good place to stop.
All right.
And we'll pick up the rest of their discography and history in the next episode of
Prague will find a way.
If You Wanted To.